Good afternoon. Welcome back to Near Post Flick On. So, the news of the hour. Eberechi Eze looks like he will be going to Arsenal for a fee of £67.5 million. Now, from what I can see on the socials, all the Arsenal supporters feel like they've got, the best thing since sliced bread. And to be fair to the player, he is a great player, he's a quality player, and he definitely will make a difference in any side that he goes. But you've got to feel for the Tottenham fans and the supporters alike, because over 48 hours ago, it looked like a done deal. It looked like he was headed to Spurs and for just over 60 million. And it looked like, Spurs had done the business. But as football goes, anything can happen. Anything can happen in football. And this once again proves again that it's not over till it's over. So Eberechi Eze looks like he is going over to Arsenal. And to be fair, as far as Tottenham fans are concerned, I don't really think they should be disheartened, because once Arsenal showed interest, there was always a chance that he'd go to Arsenal. He was in the Arsenal ranks, in the Arsenal youth system. So, and he's also an Arsenal supporter. Everybody knows this. He's also an Arsenal supporter. So, of course, that's his childhood club. And he said many a times that he'd love to play for Arsenal. And he's actually gutted when they let him go when he was 13 years old, or whatever the case may be. So, personally, I'm not really surprised, because if you're putting up two teams, you'd always want to play for the team that you supported as a child, as a boy, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, you can't argue with it. Is he going to the better team of the two? Listen, it depends on what side of the fence you sit on. If you're a Tottenham supporter, you will say, we've just won a trophy, etc., etc. We look more progressive. If you're an Arsenal supporter, you say no, he's made the right choice coming to Arsenal. We've been pushing for a league title, and him coming to Arsenal will make us stronger, etc., etc. So it just depends on your perspective as a fan. But with that being said, what led to this turnaround? It always seems that Tottenham gets stuffed, that they just can't get it right. To be fair, if Tottenham wanted him, they could have done the deal at the start of the summer. They could have done the deal at the start of the summer, even before Arsenal showed any interest. They could have done the deal at the start of the summer. Daniel Levy, once again, could have offered maybe 70 million to Crystal Palace just to guarantee that it was done. Because let's be honest, the player did say, they'd already agreed terms between the player and the club. And they'd already agreed this before Arsenal stepped in. And once Arsenal stepped in, he was always going to go to Arsenal if that was his choice. So for me, I think Daniel Levy made a big error here. He made a big error here, because if you knew you were interested in the player, why didn't you go for the player earlier on without any competition or interest from the other rival clubs, and whatever the case may be? But he didn't. They chose not to, as always. They chose to sit back. So now SA has made Arsenal a better team. And again, I think one of the reasons why this has come around is because of the injury to Kai Havertz as well. If he hadn't have gotten injured, would Arsenal have showed interest? Would Arsenal have gone all out to get the player? But it doesn't really matter. These things happen in football. If you get an injury as a club, as a progressive club like Arsenal, as a massive club like Arsenal, you'd obviously want to cover your squad and make sure that you've got the best players available to last you for the duration of the season. So it's good business from Arsenal that they've brought out, or they've gotten the signature of Eze. I think his medical will be tomorrow, Friday. And yeah, it's all over the news now. It's everywhere. So for me, it's a done deal. It's signed, sealed, and delivered. Tottenham will have to look elsewhere, but I don't know where Tottenham will go now, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think it's great business from Arsenal once again. It's great business from Arsenal once again. That's what happens when you drag your feet. And if you look back in some of the cases, Tottenham have missed out on some really, really quality players, or they always get hijacked by by some of the bigger sides. I'm not saying that Arsenal are bigger than Spurs, Tottenham supporters, but they always seem to get hijacked by other clubs. And that's because even though they show interest early in players, they never get the deals done. So it's a lesson learned for Spurs. Get the deals done early. Get it done early. Don't wait till the last minute. And stop all this negotiating back and forth. Offer the right money for the player. If you offer the right money for the player will sign. The clubs will agree. Stop all this, bartering and yeah, we've got to wheel and deal. No, just pay the money that you've got to pay and you get the player. Otherwise, you're gonna keep losing out on these brilliant opportunities. You're gonna keep losing out. But fair play to Arsenal. They've got their man. Does he make them stronger? Of course he does. Of course he does. So, but all these talk about Arsenal winning the Premier League now that they have Eze, nah, I'm not buying that. Not buying that. I still stand by my prediction. I still think Liverpool will win the league. I still think Chelsea will finish second. I think City maybe finish third, and Arsenal maybe finish fourth. I don't think Arsenal getting Eze will mean automatically that they'll win the league or they're in the best position to win the league. No, I don't think so. As good as a player as he is, I don't think he will be leading the Arsenal charge to Arsenal winning their first Premier League in donkey years. No, I don't think so. I think Liverpool are too strong a side to not to win the title. But yeah, for Arsenal, I think it's great business. And again, he may not even play all the time. He may be on the bench. Who knows? Because Arsenal have got a pool of players that they can pick from. So he's made them stronger. Of course he has. But will he win the league or is he the key factor? No, he's not. He's not the key factor, unfortunately, for Arsenal. But it's a game of two halves. It's a long season. It's only just started and it's only just getting interesting. I'm telling you, this will probably be one of the closest seasons we've had in a long while. And I'm not saying that as in, that will be a two-horse race. I think all four, or maybe five, if you throw Spurs in it, will all have a say come May next year. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.